On this week's Distributed Data Show, I'm Jeff Carpenter and I'm talking with Alex Dutra about drivers. And I have one question for you, just to start. What's the most popular driver?
Oh, it's the Java driver.
It's the Java driver, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
From DataStax, this is the Distributed Data Show.
So what we're talking about today is there's a new version of the Java driver. So
Absolutely.
we're calling it, what is it? DataStax Java Driver 4.0.
Absolutely.
Is this right?
Yes.
Okay.
And DSC Java Driver 2.0.
Okay, gotcha. So open source driver, and then the driver that works with DataStax Enterprise.
Yes.
So we're revving major version numbers on both of those.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Okay,
It was
so
just released last week.
Last week. Okay, well, we don't know when this is going to air, but it was recently.
March 19th.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're excited to get this out. I know you guys have been working on this for a while, but it was a major version number increase, which usually means there's something significant going on, like why a new driver?
Absolutely. So there are lots of new features, lots of improvements, but
Yeah.
I would say that for us developers, the main reason was that the old driver was becoming this very dense code base, and it was getting really difficult for us to add more features to the core driver. So we wanted something much more pluggable, much more modular, and that's exactly what we did with these new drivers.
Okay.
But I think more importantly, it's for users, right? So there are many reasons why users were waiting for this new driver, but one that I can mention here is that we absolutely wanted to get rid of the Guava dependency. So Guava is a very popular library, but this popularity was causing us a few problems lately because our users had different versions of the same library in their applications, and that was causing the driver to malfunction or even stop completely.
Right. Okay. So the very popular Google Guava stuff, syntactic sugar, or various libraries and utilities that weren't in Java, but then a lot of that has really been absorbed into the Java language itself over time, right?
That's true, but Guava is still very popular and still very useful.
Okay.
But what we did in this new version of the driver is that we completely got rid of Guava from the public API. So no more compatibility problems.
Okay.
It will make our users' life much easier.
Awesome. And so what versions of Java would this be targeted at?
So we are targeting Java 8 minimum. Yes.
Java 8 minimum and beyond. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
The time marches on, and there's like a new Java every week, right?
Yeah, sure. But I think that Java 8 will be around for a very, very long time.
Okay.
So it makes sense to support Java 8. Plus Java 8 has a lot of new features, functional style, and that thing. So yeah.
Okay, so you were able to take advantage of some of this under the hood. And it's not just a remodeling under the hood, right? Like you paid down some technical debt, that's great.
Yes.
But you added some new features, there's some API changes. So start me out with what are you most excited about from a new feature perspective
there are
in the new Java driver?
Yeah, I think
Give me just a top few. You don't have to
okay.
You could tell me them all and we'd be here, it'd be a half an hour.
I'll say, no, I would start with the configuration mechanism. So we have a brand new configuration mechanism. If you recall, the old drivers had this programmatic API to configure itself. But this is not very nice for most users because if you want to change something, you probably need to recompile your whole application. So to avoid that, we now switch it to a file-based configuration mechanism. So we have a configuration file, and we are using type-safe-config, which is an awesome configuration library that is used by other projects like Akka. So
that is awesome, right? Because I've rolled my own, I want to set these parameters on the driver, so I'm going to create my own config file because I don't want to hard code the. I mean, why should we have to roll our own? So now you fixed that.
Yes, and you get hot reload for free, so it's really interesting. And guess what? Like I said, the driver now is so modular, so pluggable that even if, for example, the file-based approach doesn't work for you, the only thing you have to do is implement a bunch of interfaces, and then you have your own configuration mechanism.
Okay. And is there a default configuration file that comes with the driver?
So the way it works, the driver ships with all the default values, so you don't need to worry about it. The only thing you need to worry about is if you want to override one of the default values.
Okay, perfect.
But it should basically work out of the box.
And hopefully this solves, I mean, I've heard of people going out and basically interpreting the API as if they have to specify a value for every configuration value and
Yeah,
like
true.
go in and override everything. You don't have to do that.
No, you
right?
don't. Absolutely not. The only thing the driver needs is your contact points, and then everything should work out of the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So new configuration
Yeah.
options. What other features?
So we also have support for execution for profiles, for example. Other drivers already have this, but the Java driver didn't. So we finally got there.
Yes.
So,
okay. I've been using this in Python already for a little while.
So very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, it's a set of settings that you can put together. And instead of specifying them one by one, you just put a label on it, and you say, okay, I want this request to be executed with this profile, and then the driver loads all the default, all the values that you specified for this profile and applies them.
Oh,
so it's really
excellent.
cool.
Okay, so
right?
I can actually, this simplifies if I do have maybe like different tables that I'm accessing
for
from
example,
different parts of my application,
or different access profiles, like you have very quick queries and then very long running queries, and want to separate those into different SLAs. This could work with the execution
Very
profiles.
cool.
See?
Okay.
Yep.
Really nice. Anything else?
I think I could mention global timeouts.
Yeah.
One of the things that people complain the most with the old drivers is that we don't have this notion of how long is the request going to take. The timeout that we had was just for single round trips. So it doesn't encompass all the retries, all the pages that you need to fetch.
Oh, I see.
And then we changed this to a global timeout. And so when you say, okay, I want my query to not take more than 2 seconds, it's going to be 2 seconds.
Okay. And
So
that includes
much easier for
retries,
SLAs.
speculative execution,
Absolutely, everything
like
is
whatever.
included. So for SLAs, this is great, right?
This is a great marketing pitch, by the way. This is our all-inclusive package.
See?
Your query will return in 2 seconds. Excellent. Okay, so someone is, I myself have existing Java applications using the Java driver.
Yep.
What does that process look like for migration? I'm on the 3.0 driver, or 7?
3.7.
Yeah, is the latest previous version of the driver. So now I'm going to go from 3.7 to 4.0. What does it look like for me?
Yeah, so the migration path shouldn't be hard. For most people, I think it's going to boil down to just change the package names, because obviously the package names have changed. But I mean, most IDEs do this for you very easily, so it should be quite... Now, there are a few gotchas that I could mention. The first one is that we got rid of the cluster object. So we just noticed that the cluster object was a bit useless. People were using it just to create sessions, actually. So we decided actually to merge those guys together.
So instead of like a cluster builder, what do I have now instead?
A session builder.
A session builder, okay.
So, and you will see all your contact points in there. So everything works as expected. It's just that everything is in the session object.
Okay.
So this is one thing. I could also mention the fact that now we are enforcing immutability everywhere. So this can be a little difficult at the beginning because, for example, let's assume that you have a bound statement.
Yes.
Bound statement used to be mutable in the old drivers,
okay,
right?
So you could
now they are immutable. So if you do a set string or a set int, if you call these methods on a bound statement, it's now going to return a different object. So you need to capture that in a variable or something. Otherwise, your change is going to be lost. So this is a little gotcha that is probably going to throw off a little users at the beginning. So
yes,
we
really
so
want
we're
to encouraging some good habits.
Yes,
really,
of course. I mean, immutability, everybody wants it, and we all know all the benefits of it. It's just that at the beginning, if your code used to be mutable and now it's immutable, you're probably going to have a little problem. But yeah, we are here to help. We have the mailing list. We have everything.
Okay, good. So that doesn't sound too bad at all, actually. Now, I'm sure that this 4.0 driver is an MVP, right? Or at least, it's feature complete. But I mean, like, you probably had other things on the table that you wanted to put in, or things that you have on the roadmap. Can you give us a sneak peek about what's coming?
Exactly. So for example, it's a full-fledged driver. You even have the query builder, for example, that you can use.
Right.
But one thing that is missing is the object mapper. Indeed, we didn't have enough time to get everything released at the same time. So right now, you don't have the object mapper, but we are working actively on it. So for the next 4.1 release, it's going to be our top priority.
Okay.
And we're really excited about it because we are changing the internals of the object mapper. And one thing that is going to change is that code generation now is going to be done at compile time instead of at runtime, which is very good because users will be able to do all sorts of validation and checks in their code during the build time. So it's really nice. So really excited about that.
Excellent. Good. And I know the object mapper was always a separate dependency anyway, like separate Maven dependency historically. So that doesn't seem like too much of a reach that would be packaged separately and coming in a future version of the driver.
Exactly. That's what's going to happen. Absolutely.
Right. And, oh my goodness, I forgot. There's one thing that we forgot to talk about: reactive programming.
Yes.
You know, wait, you know what? Maybe you could stick around and we could do like another episode just to dive into that. That's a really attractive programming paradigm that we see a lot of people using.
Yes.
In fact, I have a friend that loves it even more than I do. So you know what? Next week, let's have you talk with Cedric about the Reactive API.
Okay, I'm glad to help.
All
no
right.
problem.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. We'll see you next time on the Distributed Data Show.